a lot of the white kids do something bad to Jews, and then they have to learn that Jews are awesome by the end of the episode. And this conversion story thing, I know of at least one other one that was big, that was aimed at the same audience, 30-something. So that's the kind of brainwashing that was going on. There was some more brainwashing going on. Let me pop this up real quick here. Now, I actually haven't seen this, so we're going to watch this together. I know the concept. There's a Jewish talk show host named Sally Jesse Raphael, and she thought it would be a fun trick to intimidate racists, white racists, by getting them to talk about their racism comfortably by themselves, and then play it to an audience full of angry
Canes,
unbeknownst to them, and then invite them into the audience to face the racist kids. So that's the premise. Like I said, I haven't seen this. We're going to watch this together. This is 1995. This aired. You know, yet another example of how awesome the 90s was. So here we go.
As you can see, we're doing something a little bit different today. The guests on our show are going to say things that are probably going to offend a lot of people. You see, they are young racists. Their families are here to confront them about their feelings and maybe try to get them to change before it's too late. Now, I think we all know that whenever we do shows about such a volatile subject as racial prejudice, that people tend to voice their opinions very loud and very clear.
Anytime you go, don't nobody got to jump you, man. You're the nut, man.
Take off your jacket now, take off your hat, take off your glasses, make yourself feel like home. I'm your fool, lady.
Who the hell do you think you are?
I like how even she's got a montage of, like, she's basically saying, I know when we've done all these shows in the past here in the 90s, we have so many shows where we have like a whole montage of blacks and whites not getting along and yelling at each other. That was the 90s, guys. Like this whole, like, there was no racism in the 90s. This was happening on every daytime television show. Now, of course, obviously it was programming. It was programming that was all, the framing was, it was all stupid white people that were racist, and wonderful black people who weren't racist, and wonderful Jews who weren't racist. Very similar to the last stream where we played that Donahue thing. Yet another example. That was what, 1992, I think. And so, but the whole, Jerry Springer did the same sort of a thing. The whole 90s was wall-to-wall coverage of how race relations weren't working out. Like, they've never worked out. They've never worked out since integration. It's been a failed experiment since the beginning. There's never been a period where it was working out. And they can try to retcon the past and try to rewrite history and try to make it sound as if, like the 90s or the 80s or I don't know, pick a decade, as if everything was fine. And maybe if you were a kid with parents that sheltered you from this sort of thing, you'll have that perception, but that wasn't reality. The reality is it's never, ever fucking worked out. And we've been in a downward spiral really since the Civil Rights Act. And so it's kind of funny that even in her show, she's basically advertising this. She's like, I know that in the past we've tried to tackle this and it's always turned into like this fucking circus. But this time we're going to do it a little bit different.
Before we let the audience, or even the other guests, into the studio, I think it's important to let these boys explain how they feel and why. So let me introduce 16-year-old Michael.
And like I said, and ambush them. So let's have you talk when you don't have a room full of rabid Negroes that are just itching to kick your ass. Let's have you talk about how you feel. And then as a joke, we're going to play that tape to a bunch of rabid Negroes and then invite them in.
And this is 20-year-old Danny and 21-year-old Mark. Danny, tell me how you feel about
Hold on. Why all right, this is about as wignat as you can get. Like, why is he wearing a do-rag? What? Come on, man. Why? Just why? And that hair. What's up with the hair? Is he bald underneath that cat? I don't. Anyway, that's the other thing. They always find like these people. They find these people where it's like, great, we're not off to a good start.
Danny, tell me how you feel about black people.
I cannot stand. I've been stabbed in the back. I've been beat up on. I've been pushed around, and I cannot stand the fact to think that a black man, which I consider because I am racist, that my wife cannot walk out of the house without wondering, gonna jump her, gonna do this, or is gonna steal from her, and.
But this is the other thing. First of all, it's kind of funny how many times I've had to bleep out
Canes.
But his concerns are not invalid. He's saying that it, all these people that are just now waking up to the fact that like, oh, blacks are violent. I guess that's great that you grew up in a mostly white neighborhood in the suburbs and you're just now having to deal with them. But there were people that had to live in proximity to these people for a long time, and their experience was a lot different than not knowing any black people in real life and only watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and thinking that's what they were like. People like this had to grow up in a neighborhood with black people and experience the exact same kind of violence that people are experiencing right now. Blacks have not gotten worse. It's just that they are now doing what they've always done on video, and that video is getting shared on the internet, and people who have insulated themselves through white flight or some other self-segregating means had no idea this is the kind of thing that's been going on. They had no idea that this was going on because who would tell them? Their teachers aren't going to tell them. Their parents aren't going to tell them. The television's not going to tell them, and movies aren't going to tell them. In fact, all of those things are going to tell them the exact opposite. Their clergy included. So you're going through life thinking that all of the racist shit going on in America is all white people oppressing black people. And in fact, this guy, look at this guy, this fuck right here, right? He's such a racist. He keeps saying Canes. Keep him out, and he doesn't sound like he's the most educated person in the world. Well, that's because that's who it affects first. Those are the people that were affected first. The lower class whites are the ones that had to live in proximity to blacks first because that's the neighborhood. Those are the neighborhoods that blacks were able to move to first. And now blacks are moving into the suburbs and they're living in the cities and they're all over the fucking place. And now who's the stupid redneck? This guy is talking about he was literally stabbed. Like he wasn't saying they stabbed him in the back like, oh, they're two-faced. They literally stabbed him in the back. He's been beat up. He's been mugged. He's been physically assaulted. He's worried about his wife's safety walking into public. And to these people at home that are watching this from the comfort of their Whitey Town McMansion suburb, he just sounds like a lunatic. He sounds like a lunatic. This guy, he keeps saying Canes. All they're focused on, really. That's why they bleep it. It's almost more of an emotional trigger to hear the bleep than it is to actually hear the word Canes. And because they're like, it's so bad they can't even put it on television, which in 1995 you definitely could. There was no problem putting Canes on television. So anyway.
I just can't stand the fact that thinks that a white person has to be intimidated by him. And me standing up for the white race, I'm not intimidated.
See, and that's the other thing. This is the kind of attitude that white people now are complaining about, the white people not having. They're complaining that, oh my God, white people are such pussies, and they always acquiesce to the insanity of blacks, or they look the other way, or but they're basically pussies. And here's this guy that their parents would have made fun of while watching this on television in the 1990s. They would have looked at him as some low class loser. Well, the only reason why he's evil is because he doesn't let black people walk all over him. And he wants to stand up for white people. He wants to stand up for his race. But in 1995, this sounded like loser shit because none of the people at home watching this, or at least the vast majority of them, never had to be in his situation.
No matter who it is. And as I look at it, don't have any morals at all.
Well, I use the word racist. Did that offend you?
No.
That's the other thing too. Is like he's noticing patterns. He's saying like, look, in my neighborhood where I'm having to raise a family, where I've got a wife and children, where I'm in close proximity to these people, they don't seem to have the same morals that we do. They don't. I mean, he probably didn't have the technical language and talk about the low impulse control and stuff like that, but that's basically what he's observing. He's noticed a real pattern, and he's trying to negotiate the world in this hostile environment full of people trying to kill him. And now all these people who, again, literally last week were calling people like you and me racist are now suddenly like, oh, I have black fatigue because it's getting to be cool. Notice how a lot of that kind of has receded, by the way. Notice how a lot of that, like just as like the fire was rising, the Charlie Kirk thing kind of took the wind out of that. And now everyone's just fighting amongst themselves. Like now the right wing isn't like in a united front like they really were just a few days ago. It's hard for people to remember that far back, right? Because of the 24-hour news cycle is now like a 4-hour news cycle. But it really was just a couple of days ago that you had people all across the right wing spectrum. You had people from like the most normie conservative to the most hardline right winger on the same page when it comes to black violence and saying that white people need to stick up for themselves and they need to do something about this. And then Charlie Kirk gets killed, and the next thing all you know, or everyone's just saying, oh, we need to get along, actually. We need to get along, actually. We need to work out our differences, actually. And totally forgot about all that rage and anger that they had. People saying we need to show restraint. Things are getting out of hand, guys. We really need to solve this politically. Okay, well, guess what? When people are watching this in 20, 30 years, they're going to have the same opinion of us that we are of the society that made this happen in the 1990s.
No.
You think of yourself as a racist?
No.
You don't?
I don't think I'm a racist.
You don't?
No.
Why?
See, and that's the other thing too, is this will be interesting, because in the 1990s, the word racist, even people today are having a hard time just saying, yeah, I'm racist, so what? Because saying that was the most socially unacceptable label. It was a weaponized word. It was a word that basically meant the baggage that was attached to that word were all these negative attributes that meant that what you were responding to was irrational. It was the same reason they called people homophobes if they didn't like fags. It was a phobia. It was an irrational fear that was just based off of some kind of psychosis. It wasn't you actually witnessing any kind of behavior, any kind of patterns, and having some kind of rational response to that to protect yourself and your family. No, it was just all random. You were just like this broken person. You had a screw loose bouncing around inside there and gumming up the gears, and you were just making these wild, imaginative, negative stereotypes materialize in your brain, and that was it. Like you were just basically some psycho retard. And so that's why he's responding this way. Well, we'll see what his explanation is, but that's why they're recoiling at this word, because to them, that doesn't compute. That's not what they're responding to. They know they're not crazy. They know they don't have some phobia. They don't have an irrational fear of other races. They are observing behavior from other races, and they know that when they're around white people, they feel safer, and they're doing the math. It's pretty simple fucking math. But let's hear what he says.
Racists, to me, hate every race. I only do not like because of the fact of...
Well, that's kind of funny, but... that's kind of... I didn't think he was going to go that direction with it. Racist to me means hate all races. I just hate Canes. Well, have you met Indians? It'd be fun. You know what? It'd be fun to track these guys down at 2025 and see if, like so many of these guys, they turn them into reformed racists, because the trauma they put him through by putting him on a national television. And also, isn't it interesting that he's obviously appears to be wearing a disguise of some sort, that he doesn't want to be recognized? His fear isn't just of the actual people that mean him harm. His fear is of his own people and of the Jews that will punish him for saying exactly what he thinks. People thinking cancel culture is something new. Maybe in the way that it exists today, it's something new, but it was alive and well in the 1990s as well. None of this stuff is new. None of these concepts are new. It's just the technology changes the way that you're allowed to use these tactics. But I mean, the tactics have always existed. It's part of Jewish nature. Jewish nature has never changed. I mean, that's why you go back and you look at the writings from even 100 years ago. Jews complaining about anti-Semitism around the turn of the century. I mean, it could be something that a Jew from the ADL would be saying today in 2025. Nothing has changed in terms of their tactics to try to shame white people into hating themselves and accepting all these non-whites into their countries to parasitically suck all their resources away. But anyway, let's see how he further explains this.
I only do not like because of the fact of situations I've been through and how I've been stabbed in the back and taken advantage of.
Michael.
And that's the thing is, same thing. This guy has experienced actual proximity to black people. My guess is, like I said, if he had a proximity to other kinds of people, that some of these patterns would emerge and he would respond similarly. But it sounds like he lives in a part of the country where he's exposed to blacks. And look, I experienced this too. There wasn't very many blacks in the school that I went to, but the ones that we had were always getting detention, always getting into fights. And in fact, the one that I went to school with in high school, the high school I went to, literally in my class at least, we had like one black guy, and he's already dead. He's already dead. He had like 3 babies mamas, like right after high school. And then he was found blasted with a shotgun dead in a ditch from some drug deal gone wrong. And he went to like the nice white kid school. He went to like the nice upper middle class white kid school. And that's, what are the odds? Out of all the high school kids I went to high school with, he's the only one that had a life like that. And his family made more money than my family.
Michael, I understand you're thinking about joining a group, a white supremacy group like the KKK. Why?
To give myself more power, there's black extremist groups out there and black power groups, and I would not feel safe at all liking or hate because I would feel unsafe and my family would be jeopardized.
See, and this is the other thing too. People keep acting like white people have had the ability to organize. We haven't had the ability to organize. This is why they want to stop us from organizing, because of this exact truism. The fact that, racists that are atomized do not pose a threat to anybody. They're just people that are loud on the internet. And it's not until they band together, white people, not only be racist, white people, when they work together in groups, outperform all other groups, including Jews. So that's the first thing Jews had to attack. That's the first thing Jews had to attack, especially post-World War II, is make sure that white people did not have the ability to organize and form groups. And that's why they went after the militia movement in the 1990s. That's why they go after us today. That's why they talk shit about, groups like Patriot Front. That's why you have any kind of organization, whether it's just Arval trying to live with other white people in a community that isn't even really all that politically oriented so much as just they want to be left alone. They want to be white people that live in peace away from non-whites. And even that is a threat. And so this is the sort of thing that they need to prevent from happening. They cannot allow white people to organize, because the second the white people are allowed to organize, we will win. It's as simple as that. The second that white people are able to organize on any kind of scale and not have to worry about being prosecuted by the DOJ, not have to worry about, the ADL going after their livelihood, don't have to worry about all these Jewish NGOs whose entire purpose is to prevent white people from ever organizing. They don't have to worry about being expelled from school. They don't have to worry about their lives being destroyed. The second that goes away, that is when white people win. But that, I'll be honest with you, that's also kind of why I'm black-pilled in terms of, America, because I don't see any way that you're going to undo the Civil Rights Act and undo like the fair housing and undo all of these legal hurdles that have been in the way of white people organizing for several decades. The last AG we had, Merrick Garland, that openly said that the FBI was focused specifically on white supremacy as the biggest threat to America. Now, maybe that's changed, right? Maybe that's changed now that we have Pam Bondi in there. She's too busy covering up the Epstein files and whatnot, but it hasn't totally changed because she's talking about hate speech. She's talking about, sure, she'll walk it back and whatever. But don't think that wasn't something they didn't think about. And you know that this was not just a slip of the tongue, because Trump was also talking about hate speech in tandem with Pam Bondi in these public appearances. And it wasn't until you had this major pushback from people that, even Trump supporters, that they kind of walked it back a little bit. But this is something they've always wanted. This is something that Bill Barr, speaking of Jeffrey Epstein cover-ups, in fact, isn't that funny that Trump's last AG, his main purpose seems to have been to cover up Epstein. Now, I guess that's what happens when you're a pedophile that gets elected president. So Bill Barr was talking about instituting pre-crime programs, putting in AI that would try to find people based on internet posts, based on behavior, things that they said, and get to them before they committed crimes. Like, these are, Palantir driven programs that they've been wanting to implement for a long time. And a president like Trump will likely, you got to remember, we're still just in the first year. And these are the kinds of programs that they're going to want to put into place. And this kind of thing is also going to be an issue if they, for us specifically, if they make it about Jews. And they'll wrap it up in a Christian blanket, or wrapping paper rather, and they'll say, look, it's time that we have laws that protect Christians from discrimination. And in that, whatever legislation that is, you better motherfucking believe it's going to include Jews. It's going to include Jews. And so you'll be able to put people into prison for speaking bad, or just doing my stream would put me in jail. I guarantee you that's what they want, is they want to create a situation where someone like me will go to jail for saying the kinds of things I'm saying tonight. So anyway, she's very upset. And this kind of thing too, this demonization of groups that did exist, and look, we can talk about how effective they really were anyway. But groups like the KKK, were synonymous with Hitler and evil, bad. If you were, and that's why they still do it today. It's kind of like, it's the same reason why a lot of these people reflexively still call everyone Hitler. That's why the blacks still reflexively say everything's KKK, even though the KKK has been basically irrelevant for decades. And it's because they don't want white people to organize and create groups to defend themselves.
Or hate because I would feel unsafe and my family would be jeopardized for that fact.
So there's safety in numbers.
Right,
that kind of thing.
Yes.
Mark, you say that you're and you gave us this quote, a proud European American.
That's right, I'm proud of my descent.
Are you a racist?
By today's society standards, I probably am considered a racist because I have really objective views. I have objective views about all different kinds
What
of
are
things.
they?
Well, I'm probably, in a lot of ways, more conservative than Rush Limbaugh. I just don't like what's going on today. I can see what's happening in the country, and it off. I can see what's happening with the blacks. I don't like their attitude.
I think maybe we should stop here, and what we're going to do now is have our audience come in.
Now that they've watched you, and that we're gonna, now that we've backstabbed you, we're going to bring in a bunch of angry blacks to intimidate you. And that's what this is about. It's not about intimidating these three guys. It's about intimidating any white kid at home that might have been watching these guys talk and think, oh, these guys are fucking based. These guys are fucking awesome. Now it's the intimidation part of the show where all those kids watching from home are going to feel afraid. And you know, the fucked up thing about that is the whole reason why they feel afraid of black people in the first place is what's generating the racists that are sitting on that stage. Their fear of physical violence, their justified fear of, or if you don't like the word fear, their caution, you know, their anticipation of physical violence is what has created these people in the first place. This is why they believe the way that they believe, because they're being rational. They're responding to an actual threat. And so the fact that now you're going to use that against them, now you're, and not just them, like I said, the kids at home that have a black bully at school, who, all these videos that you see now that circulate on TikTok and on Twitter and everywhere else where the black kids in school are just, you know, cold cocking white people that aren't even looking. That shit was going on when I was in high school. That shit has been going on since, again, they integrated the schools. That is not a new development. What the new development is, kids didn't have cameras at school until very recently. So it just looks like a new development because now we've got all this footage of it. But there was some hardcore shit exactly like all the footage I've seen when I was in high school. And it's not something new. And so that the kids at home that are watching this and relating to these guys and maybe thinking maybe they're onto something, they're now psychologically putting them through, oh yeah, you don't like black people? Well, how about you say that to a room full of angry black people? You know what I mean? It's really Jewish and really fucking fucked up the way they set this up.
And your family members, and let them listen to this, all right? And then we'll go on. Okay, the audience has just seen the tape of Michael and Danny and Mark explaining their feelings. What did you think about that?
Sally, I think these three guys are sick. I'm appalled, and you're...
Let me talk to this Jewish lady. These guys are sick. What? They're fucking sick. I mean, there's like the most Jewish-sounding bitch they could find in the world. Jesus Christ.
Sally, I think these three guys are sick. I'm appalled, and you're white, I'm white, and you embarrass me.
Calling every black person.
Did you have any sign that he was headed in that direction?
No, we live in the country in a rural area. I've got 6 kids. All of them love everyone. None of them are racist, but him.
See, this is the boomer parent, by the way. This is the boomer parent that many people had growing up. And this is the boomer parent that's watching this on television at home. The boomer parent that thought that the greatest virtue, the greatest thing that they, or especially the mothers, the greatest thing any boomer white mother could do is produce white children that weren't racist.
I'm not racist.
We live in a rural area, and our town is racist. And that's, I think, where it gets school, our neighbors. It's sickening. I hate where we live. I hate it, and I love it here. People are people.
I love it in the city. I want to live in the big city, says the fucking dumb bitch. You have no idea. You wouldn't survive. You wouldn't fucking survive. I want to get out of the nice, peaceful, rural white area because it's racist. And and my personal safety and the safety of my children is less important to me than feeling cosmopolitan and living in the city with all the fucking brown people that would rape me to death in a fucking heartbeat.
I love it. See, there's all kinds of people. There's black, white, Mexican.
Cindy told our producer something I think that's very interesting. You did not even know that the KKK existed?
Well, I'd seen it on TV and read about different things in the newspaper, but I didn't really think it was real.
You didn't think it was real? You thought it was
No.
something that people make up? My goodness. Michael, do you care at all that your mother's upset by this?
By the way, by this time, by 1995, it really wasn't real, you know? Like, it was pretty much dead at that point. And for a town that's super racist, you know, I thought it was fake. This fucking dumb bitch.
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, I love my mother, but I feel intimidated a lot of times. I live in Kansas, and I'm around a lot of blacks, and the ones that intimidate me, I feel like they're doing it because I'm white. And the reason why I was thinking about joining this group, which I don't want to say their name.
Move, and it's hard. It's easier to say.
Okay, that's how this is cut. I'm not making these weird edits. This is I don't know why they would cut it there. I did not do that cut.
And the reason why I was thinking about joining this group, which I don't want to say their name.
Move, and
I kind of feel like that might be a really awesome group. Like, why'd they cut it there? What happened there? Why are we cutting there? Anyway, So we got Amy. Amy's upset that her husband, Danny, is racist. Your husband's trying to keep you from being stabbed to death, you dumb bitch. You dumb fucking bitch. So yeah, again, we have another case, I guess, of the virtue signaling white woman who's ashamed of the racism that is designed to keep her safe.
And it's hard, it's easier to say when you're not in the predicament to move. But where we're at, there's a place called the white people, so to speak, go, the black people deal the drugs. That's just where we live. I'm not saying every black person in this audience deals drugs. I'm just saying where we live. So in that case, we have black bums that walk around. I'll take out the garbage every single night if I go to work, if I take out the garbage, if I'm going to pick up my sister. Anywhere I go, I'm approached by a black person just because of the place where we're living. And therefore, he sees it as being wrong because I've been followed by a black person. A black person has said, give me money, and I wouldn't. I would get in my car.
But if you were same thing.
Right, exactly. And I have nothing against, I'm an interpreter for a black person. I have nothing against.
Wait, what? She's an interpreter for a black person? Is that a job? Oh my God. Oh, you just know that's, there's taxpayer money going into interpreting for black people? You're an interpreter for what? How is that a job? How is that it's got to be a government program. How is that a government program? I don't read so good, but I got this white bitch to interpret for me. I mean, she doesn't even sound like she reads so good.
But if you were same thing.
Right, exactly. And I have nothing against, I'm an interpreter for a black person. I have nothing against any race until you do me wrong.
Then what do you do when you and your husband disagree so much? Let's assume that he doesn't change. What do you do with children?
I just block it out because we're both grown adults. That's the way he feels. I can't change it.
But is it right to block it out? You're in college?
God damn it. I did not put these edits in. I was not aware it was chopped up like this. Anyway, so now we're going to meet, apparently, Mark and Dave. Dave's opposed to friend Mark's racist beliefs. So Dave's the cuck. Dave's the faggot. And, Mark's based. Let's see what we got. Let's see what happens before they cut this one.
Yeah. Okay, he is here because he is upset that Mark is so prejudiced. Dave, how do you feel about what you've been hearing so far?
Well, where we live, this is the way most people think. I can honestly say that I don't have a friend that doesn't show some of the views that Mark and the other guys are telling us about. It's the majority.
Sorry, man. Mark, you seem like a cool dude, but the hair, man. I just can't take you seriously. It's like, I don't know what to even make of it. I don't know what to make of it. It's like a mixture of like pirate and like the zoomer haircut. Like I don't even know what I can't. Like, how do you leave the house? Like, you knew you were going to be on TV, right? Or maybe, is this your disguise? The other guy wore like the hat and the sunglasses and you decided to just really run with it and look like some Zoomer pirate guy. I'm having a hard time taking this guy seriously right now.
Mark and the other guys are telling us about. It's the majority.
So when you go home, you've done a betrayal thing on your friend.
Right. I mean, I'm in the minority.
What I'd like to say is it's really a shame.
That blacks and whites are never going to get along, so we should stop.
God damn it! Like every time it's going to get good, they edit it out. That's annoying. That's fucking annoying. We were about to hear some like black people science, I guarantee you, and then just fucking cut it out. Ah, man, sorry. I didn't have time to watch this before, and I didn't think it was going to be chopped up like this. Well, we'll give it a few more minutes here.
Ever be racial equality. Natasha, you told our producer you really hate white people. Do you really mean that?
Yes, I do.
You do. Do you hate me because I am white?
I don't like you at all.
Okay.
Well, Sally, come on. You're not white. You're Jewish. So let's be honest about that part at least.
Oh my God. Perfectly fair. That's perfectly fair, and I think that your honesty is absolutely admirable. Thank you. What has a white person? What has a white person done something to you to make you? No. You just generally feel that way.
It's what I see, It's like, I have heard of Malcolm X and everything and what they have talked about. And it's happening today. So, they say racist is ignorance. To me, it's intelligence because it takes a smart person to know that there will never be equality. So stop trying to fight for it.
I kind of agree. I didn't think I was going to. I think I was going to agree with this bitch, but she's so far being kind of rational. She's kind of telling you the way you're right. I think you're right. Wow. Hello. Someone give this bitch a show. We're always going to be unequal. We're always going to be different. So this integration thing is that what you're? It kind of sounds like that's what you're saying. Wow, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Let's hear that again. Who would have thought?
You to me?
No.
No? You just generally feel that way?
It's what I see, you know? It's like, I mean, I have heard of Malcolm X and everything and what they have talked about. And it's happening today. So, I mean, they say racist is ignorance. To me, it's intelligence because it takes a smart person to know that there will never be equality. So stop trying to fight for it and just be with your own people.
But look at the audience now.
I mean, that's kind of based. I hate to say it. She kind of... If only they weren't, you know, I wish they were all like that, right? But yeah, doesn't that tell you something? It's so fucking obvious that even this bitch figures it out. It's so fucking obvious. It's so fucking in line with nature and just common sense that even this bitch figures it out. She knows it's never going to work. So why keep trying? Why sadistically keep subjecting yourself and your people to this experiment that has clearly failed? You know, I've talked about before how one of the fucked up things about this experiment was there was no undo button, right? And so if it didn't work out, there was no way to go back. There was no way to like undo the damage that it did. If your little fantasy world plan didn't work out, you were you kind of fucked things up. Like, you'd better be right about this. Well, here's the problem. Here's the other side of that. They never even tell you what working looks like. They never even give you an explanation for what kind of results would indicate to them that either it's working or it's not working. It's like that's not even considered. The average person can't even give you any answers to those questions because no one ever talks about that. No one ever says, no one ever articulates some kind of metric that would mean this means it has successfully happened. It's like, what would it be? What, that black and white crime would be at parity? Good luck with that one. Black and white IQ test would be at parity. I mean, why not? We had that Jew in the last stream that was saying that it was a sign of racism that